there's been this pulling apart that has been felt within my life, within our family, these last, I don't know, at least 6 months. I'm just feeling very clearly how the energy behind that is really pertinent right now to a lot of people and to a lot of what's going on in the world. And I just want to share the beauty that on top of that is incredibly difficult and hard to live and to experience. But beyond that, if we can access it, we can see that there's a reason for it and that there's actually a certain balance that is maintained in that simultaneous pulling. Because if either piece were to actually let go, one direction would be chosen or another direction would be actually chosen. There's a certain balance that is holding everything in place right now, because the breaking apart would actually lead to more difficulty and chaos than is required, and is not the best outcome in the long term. So there's this necessity to somehow hold it all and hold it all together, despite it feeling like death, despite it feeling incredibly painful. It's there for a reason. And so there is this pulling and this pulling and this pulling. And at the same time, despite all of the tension, there is a softening and something else that is going to emerge, something in between both polarities. This is actually what creates change. And it's actually, I don't know, I'm just really feeling the beauty of it right now. With the reminder of like, this is why we are, all here together, and why we're not here alone, and why no matter what we experience, we're all helping each other. Whatever it is that we're going through, we're always being invited to mine the gold within ourselves and within each other, and we help each other grow and find more of that gold, and remember who we really are underneath all of the layers of conditioning, of wounding, of trauma. This essence that is so beautiful. And so even though it can be hard to not know where you're going, not see clearly the path ahead of you, or have an idea of what that path is supposed to look like, but coming against obstacles, or having to trust that if the vision that you had in mind doesn't play out the way that you thought it was going to, or that you thought it needed to, that, trusting that whatever does happen is what's meant to happen, even if that means that you feel called into action to stop something, or to express feelings of like anger or discontentment about something that's going on, something that is like pressing up against you and your values and everything that you believe in and everything that you want to create. That's okay too. That's part of it. Like our culture has such an aversion to anger. Like anger doesn't have any place. It's just something to be silenced, and that's it. And you're not allowed to feel it. You're not allowed to have it whatsoever, which is wrong. Not to say that there aren't right ways to work with our anger, and that is a challenge, especially for those of us, again, who have just not seen anger used properly, who have not been taught anything about our emotions and how we can use them, how they are sacred, and how they are here to lead us down the right path for our souls. So, there's a question of having to come back in to figure out how to use the anger appropriately. But it's not wrong. And so just coming back to don't know why there's a push and pull, because I think sometimes it seems like things are going a little bit more, in one direction, or then again in another, and then at the end of the day there's just this constant pulling and tension in both ways. And really it's all like about coming back in and coming into the middle and into the balance. And that is challenging. That is challenging for us. But again, it's what's true, and the real path forward. And so again, that means surrendering and trusting life in the way that it is truly meant to unfold, while acknowledging and recognizing our parts to play in it. If we have certain desires, if there are certain things that we're feeling called to do, not just totally giving up, and surrendering into something that bypassing our work by surrendering completely, but also recognizing that we can't force anything to happen completely, and that we will destroy ourselves in the process if we try to do that. And so again, just like finding this way to listen to everything, to listen to ourselves, to listen what's going on, listen to like the people in your life, to listen to like how you feel in response to those people, and all of the steps that you have to take. Taking action when you need to, resting when you need to. It's such a complicated dance, and at the same time, this is our life's masterpiece. This is the creation, like our experience here is the creation. And so, while I want to be talking more about just creativity in this space, talking about creativity, inspiring people to create and really discover your unique contribution, like this soul creation that you're here to bring forth. At the end of the day, that creation is always going to be your whole experience here. It's going to be the sum of all of the parts of the things that you've gone through, the many different people you've been in this lifetime and others, the many different seasons and phases of your life. And, whatever you might be going through now is just one phase among many more to come, probably, depending. But, it's all a part of it. And so remembering that too, remembering the journey that led us here, but also remembering that there's likely more to come, and we can't see the future. We can't see everything. We may see possibilities, but we don't see it all. And so we have to come back to the present and recognize that, that this is our creation. Making sure that we're showing up in a way that does make us feel alive, that makes us feel like we're fully experiencing what we came to experience, and not like numbing out or bypassing or missing out on things, but really living, because this is our creation. Myself. So thanks for listening. I will see you in another expression from the heart.